Okay. So can everybody hear me okay? Awesome. So my name is Lisa Gripentrog, and I'm here filling in for JoJo this evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the call. And I don't know if I have you guys muted. Can somebody say something? Oh, you are muted? Okay. Okay. So welcome. Who's had a great day today? Anybody? I don't know how to unmute anybody. Anyhow, so today we're in Vegas. My name is Lisa Gripentrog. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was really beautiful out today. Super warm. I cleaned the pool. I was out pulling weeds, all kinds of fun stuff, and then the clouds came in and a little bit of breeze, but it's cooled off a lot. So I don't know how many of you are out there with snow or sun, or if you're just wishing you were here. Well, Katya's here. So is JoJo. I showed up and I said, were you laying out today? And she says, no, you're crazy. There's cloud coverage.
Lori's in Hawaii, so she's
Lori.
in the sunshine.
Oh, heck, Lori, I want to go stay with you. Eat lots of chocolate-covered macadamia nuts and cleanse, and then more chocolate macadamia nuts, and then more cleanse. So, okay, so I'd like to, does anybody have any shout-outs or gratitudes that they'd like to share from this week? Okay, Paul does.
Just gratitude for those of us out here in the East. Had an amazing weekend retreat at Josh and Lisa Dunsky's house. A lot of business building and just some amazing, incredible moments. And just the leadership that we have here. I mean, we talk about Isogenics being a gift, but it's really, it's the people that are here that are the true gift. And, somebody said to me, they quoted me, Lenny Evans, that you don't get into Isogenics. Isogenics gets into you. And kind of that's what happened this weekend, similar to we had a retreat last year with JoJo that was phenomenal. And this was just as good. It's amazing the opportunities we have to really grow here. So just very grateful and look forward to being on these calls every week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing, Paul. That's beautiful. And it's so true, because it's about blessing other people's lives. And when we get together and we share our experiences and share our fears and share and share things like that, we're growing without realizing it at times. It's not just about application. It's not just about enrolling people and cycling. It's about what's going on upstairs and just growing as a team and as our friendships and all of that as a family. So does anybody else have any gratitudes or shout outs? Go ahead, Mona.
I do. I finally found a friend in Washington, D.C. who I could help with nutrition, which is super exciting for me and something that I went into the new year saying that I wanted to do, because so much of my business is done virtually and so many of my relationships are online and via FaceTime and Zoom, and I appreciate those and love those. And as a military spouse that moves every year or two, that's just kind of how we operate. But I told myself that I wanted a friend that lived here, that I could physically have coffee with, and not virtual coffee, even though I love my coffee dates with people like Kate. So I won't give away my virtual coffee date. But it's kind of nice to have like a friend who I could like physically touch if I wanted to, physically hug. And so I found that friend, and I'm really excited about that. So that's my gratitude for the week.
Yay, that's so much fun. But I know what you mean when you have somebody you can just get up and go meet somewhere and actually give them a hug and touch them and talk and smell them. That's awesome. I'm so happy for you. Katya, you laughing? You're welcome. You're welcome. So who else has a shout out or a gratitude? Okay.
Hello. I have two. The first one is, I'm so grateful for the new challenge that has been started, the meditation challenge in Rock Your Health. I think it's incredible. Anna's done an amazing job just leading some guided meditation virtually. And I just think it's a really unique and cool thing that is happening, and we've just started. So I'm really grateful for that. And I actually meditated with my little 12-year-old this morning. So
Awesome.
she was like, Mom, are we done yet? But we're moving in the right direction. So anyway, but to give her some peace would be good. So that's number one. And the second thing is that I know that we're all grateful for her, but I'm so grateful for JoJo. I mean, she's been so amazing this week. I had my first international 3-way call, which was absolutely incredible. And we're going to have a follow-up call on the 19th. But it was, we had no idea what we were going into, and she just really helped connect with this amazing man, and they're very like-minded, and so it was really incredible. And I'm just so grateful for all of her knowledge and her just insight. So it was cool. So thank you.
You're welcome. That's wonderful. Your first international. Woohoo! Congratulations. And your daughter, 12 years old, meditating. That's awesome. That's going to help her. If she stays with it through the years, it's going to help her with stress in school and all kinds of good stuff. So yes, I'm grateful as well for the new meditation challenge that we're doing. It kind of keeps me calm. It gives me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending, 15 minutes on what I'm doing of silence, which is really good for me. So anyhow, any more gratitude, shout outs? Katya, do you have anything?
Just call me out, of course. Super grateful for our corporate team who came out last Friday and everybody who helped put that together here in town. That is just really great showing of support, I think, when we have not only the regional sales director, but also what is Christina's title, Jojo? She's like the North America Director of Sales. Is that right? Okay, got that right? Okay, so that was awesome.
We think so.
To have them out here, and I want to thank everybody here locally who helped make this happen. Special shout out to Jojo and Dave for providing awesome training. And then I know Liza, Heather, Ruff, and Chelsea were super helpful in setting up because I wasn't. So thank you for showing up for me.
Yes, thank you, Katya. The event Friday evening was awesome. Corporate came down and they put together the sip and sample, which was different than anything that we've experienced here in Las Vegas. Their sip and sample is a little bit different setup, and a training, and it went about 3.5 hours. And yes, it was awesome. So shout out to JoJo and Dave and Vinny for all the training. For Raphael and Chelsea, they got up and told their stories, and it went really good. It was great. We had a full house on a Friday night. It's phenomenal, full house. So it was really great. The best part, and my gratitude, is I actually got to sit down and have a business evaluation with corporate. And it was really, really super eye-opening, because when they sit down and go over your business with you and they tell you where you're at and what's going on, it makes you realize they tell you what you need, but it's not about me and it's not about you. So it's about bringing your team with you, teaching them how to enroll, reaching down deep, helping them enroll, helping them rank advance, so that then obviously you're going to advance. So it was super eye-opening, because a lot of times I know with myself, I put too much stress on myself, and I'm like, okay, I have to, I need, or it's like I'm the one that I'm too hard on myself. So it's like I take it away from looking at the big picture, which is everybody. So yeah, the event was phenomenal, and the eval I was super grateful for that, and I keep losing the earphones, so I apologize for that. Okay, so anybody go to any other events? I know I heard from Paul about Lisa's and Josh Dunsky's event. Did anybody else go to any other events or this last week? No? Okay. So let's see. Did the business eval. So, okay.
Paul, I would ask Paul what his biggest takeaway is.
Yes, Paul, what was your biggest takeaway?
Oh my gosh, good question. It was a 2-hour ride home, so I'd have to grab my notes real quick. But I think it was for me, the biggest takeaway, I think, was the comp plan. Jody Langeletti went through it. She just didn't do U+2, you share, they share. She took it all the way up to executive. She went to manager, she went through to director, and then to executive. And I probably had heard it before, but never understood it. But the executive match. So whenever I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, whenever you're personally enrolled consultants, when they cycle 10 times, you get a cycle, you get a 10% match. So that's just money on top of money. The other thing that they talked about too was PET. I've seen that a lot, and personally enrolled in the different tiers. So PET 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so James is my personally enrolled tier 1. He personally enrolled Kevin. So Kevin is my tier 2. And then Kevin enrolled his grandson Jackson. So he's my tier 3. And that all counts as you go through this whole thing. And it's just, it's just incredible. And they also talked about, driving the line and why you do that and what the advantage is and how you do it. And it's just, there's so many different things to it, so many different ways it works. It was pretty incredible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did they go over the February frenzy and talk about that at all?
Yeah, so they talked about the February frenzy and, and the bonuses and how many, what happens when your bonus is over, how many people you enroll. And there's $1,700 available there. So if you roll 5 people, you get 200. And then I think if you roll 8, you get 500. And if you roll 10 plus, you get 1,000. And they pay you each time you hit those milestones. So it's, it's cumulative. So if, you can make $1,700 really easy. And then Josh and Lisa sweetened the pot for those of us that were there. And, they threw an extra $1,000 in there if we hit certain milestones in the next 2 weeks. So
awesome.
I thought that was pretty generous too.
That's very generous. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. The February frenzy and that $1,700 in bonuses that's sitting there is really generous of the company. And it's really, really easy and attainable, especially if you're going to Celebration. But Lori, did you participate in the Dunskies event as well? No?
Hawaii.
In Hawaii, I know, but I understand that they did a Zoom, so I wasn't sure if you Zoomed in.
It's a 5-hour time difference, so it's hard to get on a lot of calls from here. It's 3:45 here.
Oh, wow. Okay, nice. So how's it going in Hawaii?
That's awesome. Living the dream.
Woohoo. Do you have anything good going on out there yet, or you doing?
Me and there's a girl from Scott and Laura St. John's team that I'm really good friends with, or become friends with since NYKO, and so we're gonna take over the islands.
Woohoo! That sounds good. You're gonna do a takeover.
And then we're gonna jump to Maui for Top Achievers and stalk everybody.
That'll be fun. Awesome. Okay, so any more events or any good news on any sip and samples, or you guys do any launch parties or have anything going on?
Speaking of sip and samples, the James and Kevin and I were calling ourselves the Three Amigos. We're doing a sip and sample on Thursday.
Sweet. I like that.
Well, I have something I'm going to post the Evite on the Rock Your Life page and the Rock Your Health page. On the 26th of February, we're going to do a virtual kind of, virtual launch party, and it's going to be JoJo covering the product, myself giving an Isogenics overview, and then a woman that I personally enrolled, and she is a general manager at Medtronic, so she's a very busy businesswoman. She has an apartment in Minneapolis, lives in Montana. So the message, you know, it's for Isogenics, as we know, is for everyone, but I think that this is a great way to connect very busy business people with this, and I think she'll have some great perspective on how she makes it so easy for her when she's traveling on the road all the time. So it should be a really good call. So I'll post an invite that you all can send out to your network. It'll be a 30-minute call.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so, Vinny, you have your hand up?
Yes, I wanted to add on to the February frenzy that we need to put out there that I don't think a lot of people understand is you will not get those bonuses if you do not have a ticket to Celebration in your back for March 4th. Also, you will not get the $1,000 bonus if you do not check in at Celebration on site. Even if you have a ticket, if you don't show up and check in, you don't get the $1,000. People need to know that.
Absolutely. Thank you. I just had a deja vu. I've been here before. So, okay. Well, thank you. So Mona.
Annie just popped on, and I hate to totally put her on the spot, but she had an event last night and it went well. So Annie, if you wouldn't mind just sharing a little bit about what you did and what your experience was, I think that would be awesome.
Okay, hi, can everybody hear me? Hi.
Hi.
That's so sweet of you. I'm sorry I'm late, busy Sunday. But yeah, I had it was a vendor party, and I decided to have a few vendors with myself here at my home last night. We invited on a event, put together or created an event Facebook and invited everybody that we know locally. So we had a really good turnout. It's we just know that we have to stay consistent. We want to do this once a month, and last night it was really good. We had our goals. Basically, it was realistic goals for myself. I knew that if I could enroll one person, that's better. That to me was just a realistic goal. And I enrolled 3 people, and I did gain a lot of interest with the others that at that time were not quite ready to make a decision. But what else was really important? It was just a really good night, and it was just to have fun. I really wanted to have fun and share with everybody what I loved, and the vendor friends that I had at the house is the same thing. They just wanted to enjoy a good time with friends and share what they liked, so what they excel and do. So that's it. It was a good night.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Amy. And you're right. It's about, you have to keep the fun in it. This business is about blessing lives and about, blessing people's financial and physical pain. And so it has to be fun, and getting together like that, great job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And welcome aboard. So
thank you.
You're welcome. Morgan, did you have something that you wanted to add?
I don't know. I know I really enjoyed having corporate come. It was different. I feel like there was a lot of good information we got, with the 3-way calls. I definitely want to work on those more. I really enjoyed just having I feel like the knowledge was presented differently. I took more in it. I took notes, of course, like always, but it was good because it was different than what our normal trainings were, and I really felt it. And then it was cool to have one of my guests actually volunteer for that too, so that was fun. So I don't know, I really enjoyed having that. I'm glad it all worked out, and thank you for everything you guys did. It was amazing.
Right. Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And yes, I'm excited it's Chauncey, right? Yeah. That was awesome that he got up there and talked in front of everybody. And he's not even in yet. Is he in? He's working on it. Okay. Awesome. Well.
He said he tried the nitro too, and he really liked it. He said that stuff works. So.
Sweet. And you know, on the Nitro, I did an event at EOS gyms for 9 hours on Thursday evening. And this is my gratitude for the week. I took a container, I got a brand new container of Nitro, and I told everybody the day before, don't take your pre-workout. I'm giving out free samples of pre-workout. And so they come in, and I made full-size bottles, full-size servings, and said, try this, let me know what you think. It's a brand new product. And I had probably about 11 people that just loved the product. They were just crazy about it. They loved the flavor. They loved the feeling that it gave them, that they didn't crash. They went home, and actually some of them went straight to bed. But they actually got amped. They explained it as being amped up, but not jittery and bouncing off the walls or teeth grinding like with, I think it's called Bang and some other pre-workouts. So I got some 5 stars on the pre-workout. So yeah, that's an awesome stuff. So yeah. So objections. The last couple of weeks we've been covering objections. I know we covered money objections, and we've covered pyramid schemes, but actually I'm going to go back before I go into objections, and I'm going to ask everybody if they've seen this before. It's called Who Do You Know? And it's an Isogenics business in the back of our back office. And so who do you know, and how many people out there make a list or add to your list of 100 every day? Does anybody out there add to their list? Okay. No? So I'm going to challenge everybody to grab a pen and paper real quick. I'm going to walk you through a couple of possibly names in the next couple of minutes. So it's super important. You know, our business it's about blessing lives. It's about stepping out of our own self and just finding people. Actually, we should share it with everybody because, you know, we don't want to be selfish with it. And if you go back to what Lenny says, if that Chinese proverb that goes something like this, don't quote me, but if somebody gives you something of that and you receive value from it, you have that moral obligation to share it with others. And the day I heard that was when I first started the products, and I had huge results from the products. And that's been my thought process ever since. Who can I bless? Who can I bless? Or who can I help? Who can I help? Who needs to feel better? I mean, everybody has something going on with them. So with that being said, our list should be super huge. And I know that everybody has possibly a little bit of a chicken list or people that they may have contacted. So I've been in the business for 7 years, and we went over this list in our training the other evening on Who Do You Know? And I was actually able to add, just off the top of my head, that many people. I think it's like 20, it was like almost close to 30. And I've been in the business for 7 years. And these are just people that I know in my everyday life that I still haven't really, they know what I do. They know about the products, but we've never sat down and you share, they share, you know, I've never described anything or talked to them about it. And so sometimes we need to just, give our memory a little bit of a jab, like me right now trying to find my words, but just kind of poke it a little bit to figure out who we're missing and who haven't we blessed. And so I went to, actually, Amanda Lunt. I went into her office a couple of weeks ago, and she has a big, huge list on her wall that says, who am I going to bless today? And if we look at it like that, who are we going to bless? Not that just we need names. I need names, people to talk to. So who are you going to bless today? And so, okay, so I'm going to tell you, I have to take my glasses off to see this, but okay, so who do you know that's health conscious, that wants to lose weight, needs deeper sleep or less sleep, or wants more energy? So let me just think about that for a minute and write down some names. Who do you know that's recently complained about not being able to sleep? Even on Facebook, or, you know, and you can look at names in your cell phone as well, people that you've recently heard them complain, or people, who do you know that's self-motivated, who's looking for an extra $200 to go, or $1,000 to go to Hawaii to visit Lori? Or who has character and integrity? Who are people that you'd like to work with? And so those are just, you could just add. So think about your manicurist, or your hairstylist, or your barber, your estheticians, your chiropractors, your rolfers or massage therapists, your butcher, or your grocery store cashier lady. Even your next door neighbor. I went through my neighborhood and I actually took little invites to my last sip and sample. And I had 2 neighbors come and they had no clue what I did. But yeah, if you just make little index cards or little invites, cute little invites, and just walk them around, and you could even attach a stick of greens or whatever, and just invite them to your sip and samples. I mean, how many of your neighbors actually know what it is that you're doing? Or even the gym that you go to.
Good thing my neighbor does, because I ran out of Isopro today.
Right? Instead of borrowing sugar, you just go, do you have a scoop of Isopro? That's so awesome. So, okay, so how many of you actually have been able to add names to your list thinking about this? Okay. And how many of you have been able to add more than 5? Woohoo! Anybody have 10? Okay. So I want everybody to know, and I challenge everybody, what I'd like everybody to do is go into your back office and print off this in Isagenix Business. And it's a who do you know list. And if you don't have a printer, that's fine too. You can just make your list of 100 names on a notebook page. And I'd like to challenge everybody to take a picture of it and put it or attach it in the comments in a post that I'm going to create this evening and rock your life. And just to, maybe even after you meditate. Is everybody in here in the meditation challenge? No? Yes? Okay. Does everybody know about the meditation challenge? Okay. And so a lot of times, well, I don't know. What do you guys do to relax besides Isagenix?
So what's a good thing too to add to that list is to think about each person so you talked about your manicurist, but how many people does she talk to every day? So does she do 6 people's nails every day? So is that 6 times 5? So that's an extra possible 30 people that she talks to on a regular basis. So to write a little 30 next to her name, because that's a potential referral for 30 people that she works on every week. So it's not just who they are, but it's who they know. So it's always who do they know. And every time we go one step deeper, we get an entire new circle of people.
Exactly. Thank you for that, JoJo. Yeah, and I mean, if you talk to a physician or a chiropractor or a massage therapist, they have a huge warm market. An example, when I started my business, I went to a lot of doctors. I did a lot of cold contacting because I worked a crazy job working 18-hour days, had no friends. I had a few friends, okay, but I never saw them. And my boss then said, no fraternizing, you cannot share Isagenix with any of the judges. I was a criminal defense investigator, so I couldn't share it with anybody in the legal field. So I was like, okay. So on my breaks, I was in the bathroom cold calling people, and a lot of them were doctors, and just to set up appointments because I had no warm market. And out of that, I enrolled Dr. I just drew a blank. Dr. Ritter, who then introduced me to his friend, Dr. Richards, who said, hey, will you come to my house on a Sunday to the barbecue and do a presentation. Sure. So I went there. He had a packed house. I met his assistant, this lady, Marilyn, who was best friends with Liddy Flom, who we then enrolled, and Liddy brought in over 6,000 people. So that's the importance of a person. You never know who they know and who they know and who they know. And so that's kind of like what JoJo was talking about. So, and the one thing that your wellness, your beauticians or your hairdresser, your manicurists, your pedicurists, your estheticians, they are always asked the questions about health, about weight loss, about money, and they always know the people who are looking for extra money to go to Hawaii or go on vacation or whatever it is. So you just have to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. So just some food for thought. So do you have anything you want to add, JoJo? No? Okay. So I challenge everybody to go through your cell phone, to go through your Facebook, and to get this filled out. I mean, you can even put your garbage men on there. Like I said, your neighbors, anybody and everybody you run into. I usually meet anywhere from or talk to, lately I've been talking to about 40 to 50, sometimes 60 people a day. And so my list is getting long. And so what I do is I just keep adding to the bottom of the list, and then you start working them. You start doing your follow-up, you start doing your drip, you start doing, inviting. But just make that list, and let's get it, and post it, okay? And then we'll see is everybody up for that challenge?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All
and
right.
Also, too, after you make the list, then guess what you get to do with it?
To call them.
Right?
Then you get to start sweating. I'm teasing. So, okay, so objections. So now we get to call them and we get to say, hey, how would you like to check this out? And we went over the money objections. We've gone over pyramid objections. Who else has a good objection that they'd like to go over this evening? Does anybody have any objections that they've constantly hearing? Katia?
But I eat healthy and I buy real food.
Oh, yes. I heard that just yesterday morning from a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear objections like that, you have to go into the whole, our soil has been depleted. Our soil, Lori's shaking her head yes. What do you normally say, Lori?
Just that the soil's depleted and all of that. I had the conversation with the girl I'm staying with yesterday.
Okay, awesome. And do you pull out any nutritional facts or anything from anywhere, or no?
No. I'm quick to say the I understand and move on.
Awesome. Yeah. I understand. I did. And I explained that to a trainer yesterday, that I understand you're eating organic and I understand you're eating healthy or as good as you can. But the same thing, the ground has been depleted of all of its minerals and blah, blah, blah. So does anybody else? Is somebody going to say something?
Can anybody do a feel, felt, found around that objection? Anybody know how to do a feel, felt, found?
Mona?
I don't know if this is going to be exactly right, but I'm going to try. So I asked JoJo, or, would you? And she says, oh, I love my all green, all vegetable, fork to mouth diet. And JoJo, I totally understand. I've been there and I just wasn't seeing results. And are you having the energy that you really want? How's that working out for you? And if her response is, oh, it's fine. Like, yeah, I was feeling fine too. And then my grocery bill, oh my goodness. I was spending so much time cutting up vegetables, looking for recipes. I simply ran out of time. And I just found a simpler way to feed myself, especially in the morning when I'm trying to get out of the house and trying to get my day going. Instead of fork to mouth for every meal, I simply replaced one meal, saved a bunch of money, saved a bunch of time, and started my day off right. If I shared with you what I've been doing for the past 4 years, would you want to take a look? Because I really have. I've been there, done that. I've bought tons and tons and tons of fruits and vegetables, and I've juiced, and I've tried to cut them up, and sometimes I don't have time. And not only that, when I moved to DC, I realized I really could not afford to do that. Food around here is expensive. So from the heart, I can say, I've done that. I get that. Would you like to save some time and money by exploring another alternative?
Awesome. I like that, because you didn't even talk about the minerals or what they're lacking. You're just talking about the time and the money and which is huge, because when you're juicing, I mean, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. Not to mention the cleanup. So
that was insane. That was a whole other ugly thing. And I'm lazy, and I tell people that, I'm kind of lazy. So I really like to be able to just open up a packet and have all the nutrients I need.
Absolutely. And that's wonderful. Thank you, Mona. Thank you. Thank you. Amy, you had something to share? Or Annie, I apologize.
Hi there. So, okay, I used to meal prep. Yeah, it's Annie.
Okay.
That's okay. So I meal prepped before. I did the juicing, just like Mona, and the blending, and I also meal prepped. And then when I didn't have time to meal prep, when that went away, then I called on a company to come and bring the food to me that has been meal prepped. Now here's the thing with meal prepping. You have to eat that food within the 2 days, or it goes bad. So I was throwing away food, because that's kind of what they say. After 2 days of leftovers or 2 days of cooked food in the refrigerator is not good anymore. So meal prepping, when I see meal prepping on Facebook, I'm thinking, okay, so you basically prepped a whole week's worth of food, and it's going to sit there for more than 2 days. So now I'm kind of thinking, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. And then some of the food that I used to prep and that used to come to me, I would throw away, because I couldn't keep up. I couldn't eat enough of it. So that's my objective. When you talk about food and prepping and juicing, and you gotta eat things right away. The fresh stuff, it goes bad
very quickly. Yes, and there's a lot of waste. A lot of waste. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything to say on that? No, I guess, it's funny. I really like what you said about the waste, the time, all of that, because Mona, I always go straight for the minerals. I didn't even touch that yesterday, and this gal's like always in a hurry, and she's always running. So I guess I should think about, not going for the minerals. I'm just so, when I drank my first shake, I can't even explain how it made me feel. It was just like the difference between, well, you guys all know, I'm sure. It just kind of woke me up. So I always go straight for the minerals, because I didn't understand about minerals back then. So, okay. Jojo, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Kathy, did you have something you wanted to say before we lost you? You're right.
I was going to share, and then I had like something stuck in my throat.
Oh.
Well, Jojo always teaches us to go to the feel, felt, found, right? We can use this with pretty much anything we come across. So when I have someone that mentions about, I like real food, and I don't want to use supplements that come out of the canister. And then we can say, Mona, I totally know how you feel. I felt the same way when I thought I had to provide better nutrition for my family. But what I found is that I'm just spending so much money and I'm using so much of my time that it's just not a good way for me. It's not a good fit for me trying to prep all my own food. Really is the same, Nona, what you were saying, but that feel, I know how you feel, so you relate to them. It's like I've been there, like you said. You just said, you know, I'm twisting it a little bit different. You have to make it work for you. And when you say this is what I found by looking at this option of nutrition, and I think Jojo, you mentioned the other day someone called you out on this, right? And said, hey, did you just feel found me? Right. So yes, you come across people that are going through similar trainings like we do, and they might call you out on it, and that's totally okay because they know that it works.
That's awesome. Thank you, Katya. Yeah, I've never been added on a feel felt found yet. Thank goodness. So anyhow, but Laura, did you have something that you wanted to add?
I didn't, but I'll try it. I'll just try it. I didn't, but I'll just try it. Okay. So you gave me that objection. You know, I totally get where you're coming from. I totally get how you feel. And I actually felt the same way when someone came and told me about isogenics, because we have done everything in our house and we have tried all different types of food plans and meal plans. And I didn't really, honestly, I didn't believe that a shake would sustain me. But what I found when I put these shakes into my body is, oh my goodness, like the nutrition is so absorbable. It is a true meal replacement. I feel fuller on my shakes than when I go to lunch with a friend. So if I go out and I get a salad with a friend for lunch, I'm hungry 2 hours later. After I have a shake, I am completely full. And it's because I'm getting all the nutrients that I need in this amazing, delicious shake. And so that's why I'm so passionate about sharing it with people, because I want them to have that same experience, to get amazing nutrition, and it's quick and it's easy and it's convenient. So are you open to learning a little bit more about what I have? So I don't know how that was.
Absolutely. I love it. That was great. I love it. So yay. So does anybody else have anything else they'd like to add? Mona.
One more thing. I think it's all about getting to the next exposure. Like we have these conversations and we think that we say, you know, if I sent you, would you, that they're ready just to sign up and jump on board and do isogenics with us forever. And really that's not the case. Like it really is an average of 7 exposures. However, if someone on their 3rd exposure says, sign me up, then the next person, if you think about the law of averages, might take 12 exposures. And if we stop at exposure number 11 and number 12 was going to be the one that was going to change their life, then we have done them a disservice by not just getting to the next exposure. So the last person that chose to say, yeah, sign me up, literally sent me a text message saying, I'm ready to sign up. How do we get started? When can we meet? And when I sat down with her, I said, all of this is about giving you the opportunity to say, I'm ready. I just had to give you 12 exposures, literally. I think it was that many, to get her to that place. But I never had to ask her, are you ready? Like she told me when she was ready. So the first objection may be like, I want food, like fork to mouth. The next objection is, I think this is a luxury. The next objection is, I think it's a little expensive. The next objection is, there's all these different objections, but really it's just, I need another exposure. Like I need you to tell me how this is going to meet this need or fulfill this desire or pass this objection. But the objections are merely, get me to that next exposure, get me to that next exposure, get me to that next exposure. And the minute that we quit getting to them to that next exposure and we give up, then we have not fulfilled their need to find out what they needed to so that they can feel really good when they send you that text or shoot you that message or pick up the phone and call you and say, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get started. So it's just getting to the next exposure. Here's the information you need. How else can I help you? Well, I have questions about this, or well, it's that, or well, it's whatever. And instead of getting frustrated, we just give them the information and move on to the next exposure.
Absolutely.
We just want them to keep asking us questions. Somebody put that in the comments. I think Vinny did. While they're still asking questions, they're still intrigued, interested. They just need to know a little more. And maybe it's because they need to be able to tell their husband why they just got this big box. Because maybe he's the one that has all of these objections, and they have to be ready. They have to be armed and ready for when that box arrives, that they're not the ones with the objections. They just know that it's the person cutting the check that has the objection. So that's just something we have to be patient with. Just get to the next exposure, get to the next exposure, get to the next exposure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, Mona. I love it. Just keep loving on them. Just keep loving on them and just keep blessing other people's lives. And that's why having a list is so important, so that we don't fall into the trap of talking to one person today and then waiting for them to reply and sign up, and then we go to the next person. We just keep talking to people, wanting to bless their lives, providing information, and giving them more exposures like Mona just said. So, absolutely. So I don't know, I see Kate is on the phone. Did Kate have anything she'd like to add?
Hey, Kate, I see you posted that you had someone tell you that it's not a necessity, it's an extra. And so let's respond to that objection. So can somebody talk about how it's not just an extra, it's not a treat? It's actually a necessity. Somebody speak to that?
It's absolutely a necessity. First of all, Kate, if you let them know that about the food being nutritionally depleted, but also like Mona suggested, that it is you're paying less than $3 a meal. And even if you have kids or teenagers in the house, your snacks and treats and all of that, they're actually going to save money on their grocery bill. But if not, money's not an option for them. The big thing is health. It's all about prevention, and it's all about getting rid of the toxicity out of their system, the water soluble, fat soluble toxins, having them do the cleanse, and getting their family in ultimate health. Did anybody want to add anything to that?
I think that if we talk about how we transfer by, so if we just transfer the money that we're already spending, it's not just an expense piled on top of what we're already doing. It's just a transfer of the money that we're already spending into a place that is going to support them versus something that's going to harm their body. And so when we show it that way, I think that some people will keep talking in the background. I think that some people will they're going to see the benefit of transferring funds that they're already spending. So that's always the best response for me, is helping people see where they're currently spending money and where the transfer comes from, because they'll notice on the other side of it, if they really pay attention, that they actually save money on the back end. And you know what, Kate, it's also, that would be a good time for potentially you to set up a 3-way call with one of us, so we can come in and be sort of a third-party credibility too, which I think as Morgan's talking about 3-way calling, I think that'll be something that we do next week, so we can train it a little bit better.
Absolutely. I agree. It is you are saving money. My first month, on my first 30 day, actually my friend purchased it for me because I couldn't couldn't afford it because I was a single mom paying for my daughter's college, but also supporting my sister and her 4 kids. So I was already I didn't feel like I should waste that money on myself to lose weight. And so when he gave me the pack and I took the products and I had all of this money left at the end of the month, it's like, holy macaroni. I had enough money to buy my next pack, plus I had an extra $300 just to set aside for the following month. I mean, it was crazy the amount of money I had left over. Just because of the cravings that changed, I got rid of the coffee, I got rid of just the junk food, I mean, you name it. And I didn't buy the garbage at the grocery store anymore. So when you look at those expenses and just combine that with how you feel. And Kate, that might be something that you may want to challenge your friend with, as far as, let her know there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. Just try this 1 month and see where you're at the end of the month if you haven't saved money. I mean, because ultimately, just like Mona was talking about the vegetables, veggies and fruits and veggies are expensive. And how many times do we purchase them and then throw them away because I'll make that salad tomorrow, or I'll get to that avocado, and we just don't do it. Unfortunately, sometimes we get busy. So a lot of us grab and go. And she's probably grabbing and going a little bit more than, what she'd like. So anyhow, does anybody else have anything to add to that before we end? No? Okay, well, thanks so much. Get those lists. I challenge everybody to at least have 50 names on a list, 50 to 100 names, and just post it in the comments tonight on Facebook or tomorrow or just sometime this week. I challenge you to do that before the next call. And, have an awesome week. And thanks for joining. Bye.
Good job, Lisa.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye.
Mwah. Thank you. Bye. Bye, guys.
Good job, Lisa.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That office looks good on you.
I know. I'm thinking, dude, this background will look good on anybody. It doesn't even matter that I didn't do my hair or anything. I'm like, hey.
I think we need to Photoshop this and it.
Right?
Everybody's background.
It's JoJo's. It's your background that makes you look so good, JoJo.
My background, so I look like totally official.
I think am I still recording?
You are. You can click on stop recording.
Awesome. Now, I think we should all have the millionaire bubble.
I can't see it.
And stuff.
Pause. Stop recording.